Since everyone's at Pulp Fest but me, thought I'd do a little video about a book that I quite enjoyed when I was younger and that has been on a journey. Um, it was part of my younger years as a reader, particularly of horror novels in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So I read a lot, had a lot of books, but one of the things I always wanted to do back then, other than write myself, is to meet some of these writers. We didn't have YouTube or Facebook or TikTok or any of these things back then, so the only way to meet and talk to a writer is to go where they were. So there were conventions and stuff that you could meet some of them, but not many and not near enough to go see. So I was always on the lookout for something. And in 1992, there was an author who was appearing at a Walden Books, for those who remember that, in Charlottesville, Virginia. And I talked to my wife, and she's like, all right, we can go. We'll take a little trip down, and you can meet her. Okay. And I already had a book, this one, called The Ridge. And the author's name, of course, is Lisa Cantrell. She was doing a book signing for her new book at the time called Bone Man. And so I took this opportunity to say, okay, I can get down there, I can talk to her, get her to sign a book or something, and maybe inspire me to be a writer. So we went down, went to the mall there, and sure enough, there she was signing books. My wife went off to do some other things. Said hello, talked to her a little bit, then gave her this to sign. It's in immaculate shape. And she said, hey, did you read that? I'm like, yes. She's like, it doesn't look like it. I'm like, none of my books look like they've been read. I take very great care of them so that they stay as in perfect shape as they can. She's like, okay. And so I asked her if she'd sign it, and sure enough, she did. To Edward, it was a pleasure meeting you. I wish you good luck with your writing. Stay scared, Lisa Cantrell. Like my very first autographed book by a writer I enjoyed. So I also bought her the current book at the time, and got to talk to her for like 10 or 15 minutes, and she gave me a lot of tips, a lot of information, and had I followed those tips and information, I may have become a writer myself. But I didn't. I was young. I was stupid. My priorities changed. Life changed. Whatever. Any number of reasons I can give you, and I didn't pursue it. Probably a lot of it was because I don't have a lot of, shall I say, I procrastinate a lot. Okay, I still do that today. Not as much, perhaps, because I've gotten older. I think once you hit 60, your patience for anything goes downhill. But you get things done, and so I've done a lot more as I've gotten older. But anyway, back to this book. We went home. I actually bagged it then, which I hadn't done to any other book at the time. Put it in a comic book bag, actually, because I was collecting comic books at the time. And popped it on, shelf in my in my little library that I had at the time, and went about my life. A couple years after that, we had some health issues in the family, and we were very tight for money. So I had to do something that I've unfortunately had to do several times over the years, and that is part with some of my books. It's the one thing I have a lot of. And so I picked out some comic books, which I sold, and then I picked out a few of the old paperbacks that I had, and didn't get a lot of money for them, and went to a nearby bookstore at the time. It's long gone since, but went in and they gave me, I guess, a fair price for the things that I had, and it helped with some medical bills. Well, I don't know if I don't remember if I didn't realize I'd done it, or that I did it and didn't think about it at the time. But this book was in the pile. So I basically sold my very first autograph book for a writer that I've met in person. So fast forward 16 years, a little over 16 years. And I had regretted it over the years. I bought a new copy and thought, well, tough. But we had a new bookstore that opened, down the road a ways, about half hour away, in late 2008. And I was all excited. Hey, I was back to reading again and buying more books. And this bookstore opened, and by the way, its name is Blue Plate Books in Winchester, Virginia. And I went and visited several times over the years, or over the months when it opened. It's like, oh, this is great, because they were selling gently read books, which was exciting for me, because now I don't have to buy books that are so creased you can't read this, the letters on the spine. But anyway, they had a really good selection. It's still there today, still a good selection, but back then it was, the paperback selection was amazing, and I got all kinds of books. But one of the things that I didn't ever thought about is, I guess, finding something that was lost. But somehow, about 2 months after they opened, he got a lot of books in, and I saw this on the shelf. Now, I already had a copy that I had bought since, but I thought, hey, well, I got that at home, and I was telling the manager there, yeah, I bought a copy of this, back, 16 years ago, and had the author signed it, and stupid me, I ended up selling it. And he said, oh, okay. He said, what is your name? I said, oh, it's Eddie Edward, whatever you can call me. He said, well, is this it? And sure enough, it was the book that I had signed 16 years ago. It had made its way back into my hand. I don't know what kind of journey it was on. It would have been great to find out, but it made it back, and it made it back in the condition it left in. Now, I don't know if it's kismet or what, but it found this. It found its way back to me, and I've not let go of it since. It Even though I didn't follow her advice like I should have, it still holds a very special place in my heart, because it was a moment in my life that I've had rarely repeated. I've not been able to meet a lot of writers over the years, some, but not a lot. And it was great to have this back in my hands. But before I go, a little bit about her. She was born in 1945, um, and she only wrote 4 books in her lifetime. The Manse, which won the Bram Stoker Award for a first novel. I think this was in 87. Then Torments in 80, or no, then this one 89. Torments in 1990, and then Bone Man, which is the book she was signing when I went back to see her in 92. As far as we know, it is the only 4 novels she's ever produced. She disappeared after, Bone Man. I think it's been verified that sometime in the mid '90s she published 2 short stories, but she's really off the radar. If you can believe I've tried to do some research to find out what happened to her, and if you can believe, Reddit posts, supposedly there are people that know her personally, and that she just stepped away from writing and is living a different life now. And they've talked to her, but according to them, she very much appreciates that there are still fans out there of her works. So take that with a grain of salt. It'd be nice if it was true, although, she's a very good writer, and I wouldn't mind seeing more from her. So, but that's the story. That's the journey of this book for me. And so, got to go put it back in its bag and board. I'll see you next time.